All right. What? There's no numbers. All right.
Holy shit. We're live, pal.
We're live. You said look for the countdown. I'm getting
look
on
for the
my
count
end.
up, whatever. You know what I meant. Jesus Christ, Jimmy, bring it in. And now you're frozen, which is even better. A better start for the Jimmy Palumbo Show. But welcome, everybody, to the Jimmy Palumbo Show.
Can you hear me?
Number 200.
There I am.
No, you are so late. Go ahead, Jimmy. Go do your thing.
Am I delayed?
Oh, my God. No, you're good. Mm-hmm.
Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to another shitty edition of the Jimmy Palumbo Show. I tell you, my tech staff was off because of the cold. I have 7 guys that come in and work my tech because Dave Sturcho couldn't be here because he's got to be in his attic. And we are live on the Jimmy Palumbo Show. Now, let me tell you something, you podcast wussies out there. I listen to podcasts all the time, and they are edited like all over the place. Edited. It takes them 3 days to do an hour podcast. We don't do that here. We go live. It's tacky perfect day here at the stadium. More on merch in a minute. But welcome to show number 201. Dave, how are we doing today?
I don't know. I'm going to play the intro, though.
Yes, indeed, Jimmy Palumbo Show. Show number 201. Listen, rough start. That's how it is. Sometimes you go 5 1/3. You know, I'm like the CeCe Sabathia of starting pitching. I get roughed up in the first inning, but when you leave the game, that's all he gave up. This is show number 201, Dave. And of course, that means everybody's favorite Yankee, Frank Crosetti.
Yeah.
And Billy Martin and Bobby Mesa, Bobby Richardson, shot heard around the world. Neighbors, Jim Neighbors, the TV show guy, he wore that number in Little League. Your friend and mine for your father, Rafael Septial, your Dallas Cowboys. You know who he is?
Yeah, the kicker.
The kicker. There you go. Also, and you know what? This show is going to be great, and for a number of reasons. Do you know who Lambeau Field's named after?
I gotta assume Mr. Lambeau.
Okay.
And I don't know who Mr. Lambeau is, but I gotta assume that's what
technically you did get that answer right. Okay.
All right, good.
It's a guy named Curly Lambeau. He started the team, coached the team, did all this crazy stuff, the whole public entity. He started all that, and they had money issues at one point. They had to fire him. His name was Curly Lambeau. He also developed. He developed this thing in the NFL. It's used a little bit, the forward pass. Dave, you familiar with the forward pass? Well, Giant fans haven't seen it in a while, but in the other NFL teams besides the Giant, they do this thing called a forward pass. So he was involved in that. He also instituted that teams can fly to games, which every NFL guy sitting on your fat ass on a triple seat plane. Think of Curly Lambeau. They named the field after him, and it's the only. Anyway, I find that. Look up the Curly Lambeau. Go on Wikipedia. It's wild. He did all kinds of shit. Anyway, so that's Curly Lambeau here, number 1. So I know you don't have a number because you don't care.
Oh, now, I don't care. Jimmy, the amount of work I've done for your fucking show in the last 2 days is beyond.
Because, first of all, those of you,
you know what? If you want, I'll get up and I'll just leave and I'll walk out.
You can't do that because we have a guest. And I don't know how to get him on.
That I'm very intrigued to talk to. Another fellow Dave in this world. So,
yes, there's a bunch of Daves coming on the show today. Of course, we got new graphics. Those of you watching, Dave was kind enough to put this together from my website guy. Kind enough. And listen, Dave, I'm his best friend every Friday.
Yeah. Wait until you get this week's fucking invoice.
Oh, please. But consistently. And by the way, of all your fucking people that owe you money, come on, who bang. I get that text and bang, it goes right back to you.
Yeah, no, you know what? Because I'll never send another reminder because I got a fucking threatening text one time I hit remind by accident. Literally, easy with the reminders. I'm like,
you sent it at like 2 o'clock, and at 2:05, I was getting reminded.
No, that's bullshit, and you know it's tough.
I pay all my fucking bills, even though. Yeah. If you ever want to know how my financial situation is going, watch the scene in Titanic when they cut to the engine room.
No. If you ever want to know how Jimmy's financial situation is going, tune in next week when there's no fucking show.
That's it. I'm losing Dave. My guest is going to be doing the tech stuff. But all right, we got to settle down.
Mm.
The opening of my show is always, it's like, listen, we're like a network show. We're smooth as hell.
Sure.
But we go live, not like these other podcasts. So we do the baseball card thing. And this guy's another classic. But people, you're not going to remember him, but he's like he's considered to me like an average, like on his tombstone, it should say Mark Gubicza, right?
Mm.
Average pitcher in the major leagues. Like, he didn't suck. I mean, he was 14 years in the leagues. He was a righty. He was 132 and 136. But he had a 3.96 ERA playing on bad Royal teams. And a lot of times he has some kind of record like games he pitched, the Royals got shut out the most, like, which means unless you give up only one.
Was there a recent Mets pitcher that did that?
Yeah, there was a Met guy. This guy.
DeGrom.
Yeah, so
they used to lose games like 2-0.
2-0. This guy was that guy. I'm sure it wasn't. He was not as good as DeGrom, clearly. But in 1988, he was 20-8 with a 2.70 ERA, and 89, he was like 15-11. So he was like a different, a decent righty pitcher. But I always laugh. I always like looking at major league players last year in the league. 2 starts, 4.2 innings pitched, 13 hits, 3 walks, second with a 25.7 ERA. Like you can pitch yourself out of the major leagues,
and I think he did that on that day.
But he also had injuries. He was a mess. He's in the Royal Hall of Fame. Made big money for pitchers in the early 90s.
He's in the Hall of Fame. He's got he's
for the Royals.
Yeah, but it's fine. He's still below 500 pitcher in the Hall of Fame.
But that's because first of all, the Royals Hall of Fame.
The Royals Hall of Fame should be George Brett.
And thank you. Yeah, it could be. But this guy played during the Brett era for sure. Now this guy's Mark Gubicza. I guess I'm saying it right. His dad pitched in the bigs for a cup of coffee. I also love this, and Dave, this is something you're going to appreciate. Back then, they had either a 4-man or a 5-man rotation. Sure. So the first time they made the playoffs, he was part of the 4-man rotation, but they got swept in 3 games, so he didn't pitch.
Opportunity missed.
And then in 85, he was in the World Series against the Cardinals, I believe. And he was the 5th starter. And the manager just made like a game time decision. I'm going to go back to starter number 1. So that made me laugh. But a Hall of Fame, he does color for the Angels now. Supposed to be a really good guy. Good looking fella. Those of you, so some of my women are, he's a fine looking gentleman.
Oh, yeah, look at that jawline. Look at that.
And he's square jawed here at Shea. So, yes. Anyway, a couple of things. Obviously, I want a big shout out to my Patreon, 47. We're not mired yet, but we're, it was like a couple of 0 for 3s.
How many Patreon numbers you got?
47.
47, huh?
47. We're
working. Not a bad number this week. If we're all doing.
Yes, yes. 47. I'm gonna get to that in a second. Shout out to my boy Deej. Maka Deej plays Alphonse. Darryl Clark, and the reason why we're mentioning Darryl Clark is Dave. Did you have any fine desserts this week,
dude?
How good was that cake?
First of all, Darryl Clark, bless you, sir, because when that thing got there, I was like, I don't even know what this is, right? And I even told Steph, I was like, I don't know what this is. I was like, he sent some delicacy. He sent it once upon a time to Jimmy. Now I got one. So we opened it up. It's basically the world's biggest Cinnabon.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something. Listen, specifically at the end of the night when I'm a little on my coast of high, right? I'm like, I got the munchies. I should probably eat something. Boy, oh boy, is that how
good was I ate? First of all, I ate. I didn't
put it in the microwave or anything like that, but I think I should.
I feel it comes in this big oval. It looks like it should be sponsored by like the Indy 500. It's a huge oval thing. It's big plastic. It's fresh. I gave it to my neighbors, the Irish couple next to me. They absolutely loved it. I ate. I don't even want to tell you how much of it I ate, and I gave some to my daughter, and so it was awesome.
There's only about a small sliver missing from mine. I can't. If I divulge and go nuts. That'll be I'm actually not to say that Jimmy's weight thing is a highly coveted segment, but your boy Dave is down 3 pounds in about 5 days. So
good job.
I'm making moves over here. I got a lot of shit coming up where I gotta look lean.
I'm actually gaining weight. I'm 216 now at Shea, which is very depressing. But that's because this weekend, in terms of dieting this weekend, I didn't even go 5 1/3.
It's very hard to do in the winter months, football and shit like that.
And also a shout out to Mike Shecky Lawler, my boy, just checking in, making sure you're doing all right. Dolphin fan there. Now, I gotta say, now those of you scoring at home, I had a nickname in college. It was Bingo. Was my nickname. It's just to match me, but that's what it was because I used to imitate Bob Uecker commercials. And when I kid around, when I do my sports announcer voice, it's always a combination of like Marv Albert with a little what's his name? The guy the famous college football announcer. Oh my God.
Well, somebody's on the air. What's his name? Somebody on the air. That one.
No, yeah, little Jim Gordon is from the Giants. And the guy, Nelly. I can't believe I'm having these.
My father would know right off the rip.
Oh my God, my brother will. My brother right now is
texting us right now.
Texting me right now saying you're a jerk off. That's why you don't go live. But Keith
Jackson.
Keith Jackson.
Oh, my dad does that all the time. Well, let me tell you about Keith Jackson.
Well, so when I do sports announcer voice like Jimmy Palumbo here, getting involved, there's always a little Marv, but there's always a little Bob Uecker.
Oh, yeah.
Because I used to imitate the commercial when he thinks he's getting tickets in the front row and he ends up in the upper deck. It aired when we were younger for 1,000. It's a really funny.
I think I remember that commercial.
The spot still works because he says one thing about being an ex-big leaguer, he called the front office bingo. And I used to say that my room at Kappa Sig was called the front office. Somebody put a plaque up.
That's really funny.
Just called it all that stupid shit like that. So, and he died. Uecker was just great. Artie told me a lot of funny stories, some of which I can't even talk about on the air when he hung out with Bob Uecker.
But
funny guy.
I mean, the major league movies, like
the major league movies, his supposedly he was really magical at hitting the mute button while talking to people in the booth. Supposedly he was like a magician at that, and he would say all kinds of weird stuff and make people laugh. Checking out chick back in the day when you were allowed to do this. If there was a good-looking woman down below, you're allowed to flirt with a girl from the booth. So a big shout out to Bob Uecker. I love his voice. And if you ever watch, you can spend an hour watching Bob Uecker talk. The Hall of Fame one is famous, but he's got all these little talks you see, and they're hysterical. I wish I would have saw him live doing that.
And don't forget, he was one of the co-hosts, I believe, of WrestleMania 3, where Andre the Giant basically wrapped his friggin' massive claws around his neck.
Almost killed him.
Yeah.
So shout out to Bob Uecker. Of course, where's my shit? Don't forget. I know. I'm just all messed today. I got thrown off.
Guys at home, he does one show a week.
Because you know what it is, Dave. I know what the problem is. I woke up this morning, right?
What time?
And I thought maybe my carpets were dirty. And I said to myself,
"Rest assured."
Yeah. But I think they weren't that dirty, and I realized, wait, I just got it done. I vacuumed a little bit. I was up early this morning, bro. A rare Jimmy Palumbo getting up early this morning, and I realized, wow, if my carpets were dirty, who would I call, Dave?
I mean, there's only one place to call, and that would be OxyMagicUSA.com.
That's right, Dave Sturgeon.
A lot of friends.
We are not only do me and Dave use the service, we may someday own a service, carpet cleaning. Go to OxyMagicUSA.com. This place is great. Go talk to Tommy and Natalie. They got all over the state. They got them. Drying time is quick. The guy comes in. They move the furniture around for you. They'll clean the wall, carpeting, area rugs, upholstery, tile, grout day at the stadium. They have 80 locations nationwide. And also, if you're thinking about being a cocky bastard, you can buy a franchise with 0% financing from my boy Tom DeMeo, who I'll be playing pickleball against him on Thursday. He's probably going to kick my ass.
Hope he smokes you.
He usually does. He's good. I
was in New York City on Sunday, and I was walking by. I was trying to get to the Manhattan Center, and across the street from the Manhattan Center is this massive, massive building, and all it says is pickleball. And I'm
That's right.
What? It's literally, it looks like a gym designed just to play pickleball. And I'm like, this is.
I wanted so bad. I was in the city with my daughter on Sunday. I was trying to figure out a way, but I couldn't. I was the Uber driver.
That's
More on that in a second. I wanted to come see you and bust your balls. But anyway, Oxy Magic. Now, I feel with how much time we got. Should we bring on Dave now?
You have to. Yeah,
we have to because he's. All right, listen. I got a very special guest here. Number one, he's a complete jerk off, but. He'll laugh at that. This is a guy. Now I know him. I don't know him like the back of my hand, but I used to audition with this guy years ago, and so did Artie. We were rookie. I guess we're both kind of rookies. I guess I used to see him at on-camera commercial auditions. voiceover auditions. He was always dressed neat. He wore a jacket a lot, and I look like I should be doing the tile work at the place. And he has a great voice, and I was like, you know what, I got to get this guy on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, coming on the show for the first time, your friend and mine, Mr. Dave Koning. What's up, buddy? How we doing?
Wow, this is exciting. This is going to be the best broadcast since Hirohito announced the Japanese surrender. I'm very excited to be here.
Listen. First of all, now I my producers are still trying to figure out why we're having you on, but while we're doing that, I'm busting your balls. Listen, you and I. Do you remember back in the day with the voiceover auditions?
Oh, what a racket! What a great racket that was.
And it used to be like you had like a 9 a.m., a 12, and like a 2. Now, do you remember in the early days, I was young, the older guys who were like 10, 15 years old than us, they would go for martinis in between auditions. Yeah. And they would come into the booth like you could tell, like,
now they'd show up drunk.
They have a
show
buzz
up in the morning drunk and get drunker throughout the day.
Oh, it was great. And of course they booked it because they had those booming voices of God. And I was like, I was only one. Of course, I was hanging out with Artie Lang, so I will admit, if we had a 3-hour break in between, we would sometimes go for a cocktail. But I remember seeing adjust voices and Beth Melsky and all the some of them are still around.
They're all gone now. Those places.
Well, some of them are still around.
The world is gone.
It's all done like we're doing now. You like you're actually auditioning to be my co-host for next week when Dave Sturcio quits on me. But he won't quit on. He'll quit on Saturday, not on Friday. And but listen. So you have been.
But that whole world that's like talking about silent movies now or vaudeville. It's all gone.
Remember going into the room, you had the microphone. They gave you excellent direction, and they would direct you. And now you're just by yourself with a scotch in your house at midnight doing it, and you hit send.
It was a good racket. I made some dough at it, and
So I didn't realize you're
all true. Everything you're saying is true.
You're a comic, but you're also a comedian. I used to watch that show. You were on a show, and I'm going to butcher the name. Subway Q&A. Dave, you remember this when the guy was walking around the subway?
That was the name of the show, Subway Q&A.
Asking questions with people, busting. You could.
Well, now, I mean, that's a very popular.
You'd be dead by. I know, but he was doing it. I believe you won 3 Emmys. On that,
I won 3 local Emmy Awards for that. Yeah, 3 New York Emmy Awards, which are the same as regular Emmy Awards. They're just shorter.
I don't even know anybody named Emmy. So that is awesome. I used to watch that. You also have been on. I mean, you've been on a bunch of shows similar to me.
I went on Jimmy. I went on his website. The link you sent me. I think he gives you a run as far as credits. Like this dude is all over the place. And the one that popped out to me is him on Louis.
He was on Louis. Great on Louis.
Yeah. I was on Louis. Let me tell you something. I was on Louis the last season, the first 4 seasons of Louis. Whenever you saw him do stand-up on the show, he was down at the Cellar, right? For the 5th season, for whatever reasons, he switches to the comic strip uptown. And he brought me, he booked me on the show I was playing the owner of the comic strip. And we had a great negotiation scene. It was very funny. We get done shooting it. And Louis says to me, he says, G Dave, that was really good. He said, we're gonna have you back. This is gonna be a recurring role. And I went, yes. I said, I'm available. That's great. And then about a week later, I opened up the newspaper, and everything in his life was canceled overnight. And I went, that son of a bitch, he screwed up my recurring role.
You had a recurring role, and then we found out he was jerking off on Sarah Silverman.
That was the end of my recurring role.
That's exactly what he was doing. He was having sex with himself in front of assistants.
Whatever he was doing, it screwed up my recurring role, and that's all I cared. I didn't care about the scandal.
I would have been the same. I would have been so pissed at that. You have no idea. Even when I'm on a set now in my trailer.
We're talking about the same Louis here?
Louis C.K.
Yeah, all right. First of all, for the record, I'm going to see him on Sunday night, by the way.
Okay, well.
He's at the Stress Factory trying new material.
Are you going?
I'm a huge fan.
Are you going with your wife?
Yeah.
All right, well, I'll tell you what. Send your wife backstage, and
I'm gonna leave that alone. Listen.
Listen.
Vinny Brand did me a solid because it was sold out. And just a quick story. Vinny Brand is the man. Yeah, I know him through Brett Ernst. Met him plenty of times at the.
I can't get a set there.
Do you want to sit there? I don't even know.
Yes, go up to him and say I'm on the Jimmy Palumbo.
And I'll tell him that I'm the co-host of the Jimmy Palumbo Show. He's going to say, "Who?"
Do your job as a producer, goddamn.
Yeah, listen.
Let's get back to Dave Koning.
Yes.
It's on our show.
And my Dave doesn't count.
One of your biggest credits to me is you did the late night with Joey Reynolds. Now, do you? First of all, do you? What I love, there was a guy. Now, this is how I know Joey Reynolds. I didn't do his show. I love to this. That's why I'm doing this podcast today, and I've told Dave Sturcho this. Back in the day when I went to sleep, I loved late night radio. Yeah. It was different than it was late night radio. They just didn't have regular people on AM radio from like midnight to 4 a.m. So I'd come home, and Joey Reynolds was a classic late night talk show host.
Absolutely, yes.
And the thing that made me laugh, he would have on like some guy who works for the MTA. The subways, and then Sinatra would come on for 10 minutes, and then it would be, and then like Dave Koning, and then like you didn't know what.
No, he was great. You would go down there. His show was down in the financial district, on WOR at the time, and so you'd go down, and he was on from 1 a.m. to 5 a.m.
Right.
So you'd go down there. The place was abandoned. It was like a ghost town. And it was the middle of the night. There was no one around for miles because of the financial. And you go on Joey's show and kill time with him. And he would have, like Mickey Freeman would go on that show. Mickey Freeman was the last surviving cast member of Sergeant Bilko, Phil Silver's show.
Yeah. And I know Mickey Freeman.
He was adorable. He was hilarious. He was this shriveled up little 90-year-old Jewish man. He was fantastic. And he was very funny. And Joey would get payola from Sarge's Deli. And they would send over plates of cold
food.
Cuts.
He would talk about that, yeah.
He would talk about it on the air. And Mickey would show up with Ziploc bags. And you go there at 2 o'clock in the morning, Mickey Freeman would be in the back, filling up the Ziploc bags with pastrami to take home. And
that's so great.
You would do that. Yeah, that was the Joey Reynolds show. And then he had a TV show for a while, and he had me on that all the time. So.
No, it was great. I'm a big fan of Joey Reynolds. So I saw that. I'm like, I got to bring that up. So when did you start? You've been on Broadway. I mean, I can't believe you were in Grease. Vince Fontaine. I'm looking at your Wikipedia here, which, by the way, I don't have a Wikipedia. And you've done a bunch of Broadway, off-Broadway.
Waiting for me to do it for him, by the way.
And I'm going to get my website guy. He'll charge me $3,000 to do that. And but let me ask you, do you tell me about the beginnings? You started out, were you like an actor in high school? You were into it, or did you stumble in?
I was an obnoxious young child actor. I was a professional actor when I was 9 years old in theater in Manhattan, in New York.
So you did commercials and all that shit as a kid?
I did a little bit of commercial work back then. Yeah, I wasn't like a wildly successful child actor, but I had all the problems that you hear about child actors having with the drugs and and all. Well, I had all that without the success. So that's
it's more expensive that way.
Exactly right. I had all of that, but I couldn't afford it because I wasn't that successful. But so that's how I got started. And then when I was in my early 20s, I started doing stand up and now and then I graduated to the Joey Reynolds Show and then the Jimmy Palumbo Show. So that's my entire career.
Yes. Well, what you do now, you do cruise, because I was like, when I saw something on Facebook and I'm like, oh shit, what happened to Dave Koning? And I didn't realize you were no, you know what it is? We don't see. No, you don't understand. I didn't mean it that
way. What
does
that mean?
Because we don't know. No,
did I gain weight? Did I put on weight? Do I look fat?
You look at that guy. No, what I'm saying is, I used to see you. I used to call my guys. We saw the same guys for years.
Yeah, we
and all of a sudden, with the at home shit, you don't see anybody.
You don't see anybody anymore. No, you're absolutely right. You don't know.
That's what I meant. I was like, what happened? All of a sudden, I saw something. You were on a cruise line. I'm like, oh shit, he's probably doing cruise lines. That's awesome. He's making good money. He's making a living at it. And then I was like,
right, Jimmy. Right after the pandemic, I kind of landed on the cruise ship circuit. So I've been like the last couple of years. It's basically what I've been doing is just going from boat to boat to boat to boat to boat, and it's a great racket. The money's not bad. It's not bad.
I know.
I just out of curiosity, it sounds like a fantastic gig. But like, if you're on a cruise, let's just say it's like a 6 day or whatever, right? Like, or is that one of those like
Yeah,
Okay,
you're on for about a week. Yeah.
Okay, so if it's a week, do you have to have, considering the fact that there's not going to be any new people on the cruise ship every day because it's all the same people, do you have to have 6 nights or 5 nights worth of material, or like can you just kind of recycle and reorder?
No, they put you on generally. I mean, it varies from ship to ship, but they put you on for 2 nights, and you do 2 separate 45-minute shows. So you got to have 90 minutes of material.
Oh, okay.
And you do 2 separate shows. You know.
Now some guys do like less time, but they do an R-rated show, a clean show, and they work in the kitchen. But let me ask you now. Okay, but you know what though? I've talked to some guys who do cruise ships, and they like it. The money's good. That's the cool thing. And the audiences are real receptive. But what do you do?
The audiences are great.
But what do you?
They're really great.
Does it get a little? I don't want to say lonely or crazy because you wake up in the morning at 10 a.m. or 9 a.m. and then you don't have to do a show and you're on a cruise.
Listen,
go ahead.
Yes.
What do you do?
Yes. Listen,
do you write?
I don't drink anymore. I write, but you hear a lot of horror stories, mostly involving guys who drink. I don't drink, so I stay out of trouble. But there's a lot of guys on these. You're always hearing about like some magician who came back from the port and he was drunk and he took a piss in the champagne bucket in the restaurant and he didn't realize he was in front of people and they haul him off to the brig and beat him up and but he's still working the ships because they need a lot of magicians, I guess. So, you hear these stories. I'm very dull. I read a book, I write, I take a nap. I take a lot of naps. I sleep a lot. Like an excessive amount, like probably an unhealthy amount.
What's the longest you've ever had? Like, you've ever done like a 3-week cruise? Is it like that?
Yeah, I did. I did a month cruise once. I was booked on a cruise for a month. It was several cruises, strung together.
But how far away did you end up? Like in Japan or something like that?
No, it was just like down in the Caribbean. It was just like back and forth from Miami to the Bahamas or whatever, and back and forth, for a month. And that got a little, that gets a little. You get a little stir crazy.
Now, I'm sure your family. I doubt they miss you that much, but is it possible?
They don't miss me at all. They're happy to get rid of me.
You got? I know you got like 4 kids. How old are they now?
My kids are they're all adults. They're all grown up. They're because I unlike most comics, Well, Jimmy, how old is your daughter?
She's 16. 16.
She's 16.
Yesterday.
I
got a late jump.
Yeah, well. But nonetheless, like the guys down at the cellar, this. Most of them generally, they don't get married, right? They live that sort of single lifestyle. Now, I got married young, and I had kids, and all my kids are doing great, and they're all grown up, and they rarely ask me for money, so I'm very happy about that.
That's good. And they all live around the city, or they live in the tri-state area?
They all live in New York. Yeah, I see them all the time. When I'm in town, we get together and. It's great. They're all well. My youngest son, who goes to City College, and he's a theater student. And when I'm on the road, he uses my apartment as his dorm room, and place hasn't burnt to the ground yet. So
there you go.
Seems to be working out.
It's a success.
Yeah. You sure he's not using it for a little away games?
Hey Jimmy, let the kid live. He's a college student, man. Come on. Man.
All right, we'll let him live. So all right. So another thing.
Yes, sir.
We could talk about is when you audition for stuff, commercials and stuff, do you have a whole setup like I do with lights and the cameras?
No, I'm ridiculously bad. No, I've never adjusted to this new world of technology. I swear to God, I'm such a Luddite. No, it's ridiculous. I have like, to get the proper lighting, I got lamps with extension cords hanging from the ceiling. It's like, what it is. Me doing an audition is like watching you set up for your show. You guys got me on here like 20 minutes before you went on the air. 20 minutes. I'm watching Jimmy walk around. I don't know how to plug this in. What do I do? Do I move this over here? I can't see it.
Great.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me in there?
That is
how do I get on the internet web?
Dave was primied to the Jimmy Palumbo prep, which that's my favorite 5 to 6 minutes every week.
I saw the whole pre-show. Yeah,
I will admit I do struggle. You know what? I'm one of those pitchers that struggles the first inning, but once I get to the third inning,
like an hour and a half. Right?
Nobody reaches second base to the 8th.
Hilarious.
So now, of course, so you did stand up, and now did you? This is a personal question. Did you book a lot of voiceovers? Because I booked a few good ones, but some guys booked they were doing like 10 a week.
Yeah.
You have a very cool voice, so were you big with the voiceovers?
I did a lot of work. During that was because we got into it. I would say the last 15 or 20 years of the heyday of that.
Right.
And no, I had a good racket going. I did a lot of voiceover work. I had a couple of big accounts. I had Total Serial for 10, 15 years. With the balls stacking up.
Wait, holding. Number 12.
As he
you know what you just said? You know what you just said? Okay. Well, you just said to me in Latin.
What did I do?
And then I booked this spot for 12 years, and that's why the kids' college is paid for, my apartment's paid for, my car is paid for, and I really don't need to do cruise ships. That's awesome. You were the voice of Total? That's great.
How many bowls of your cereal would it take to get the vitamins and minerals in one bowl of Total? It would take 47 bowls of your cereal. So I had that racket.
That spot. Oh my God.
That's so funny.
And I probably read for that, and I read it wrong, and you nailed it.
Oh, Jimmy, but here's something I'll tell you. I read for that spot. 100 years ago, I auditioned for whatever the phone company was that did Can You Hear Me Now? Can You Hear Me Now guy.
That ball's still going. It's still in the air, that pitch.
Yeah. And I go to the audition, and there was a table in the room, and I did something funny where I crawled under the table and I did a physical bit. Cut to like a year later. Now the campaign's on the air, right? But it's not me. It's that guy.
The other guy.
Right. He's been doing it for a million years and is a billionaire, And I'm at some function or something, and there's a woman there. I'm making small talk. And I said, what do you do? She said, I'm an account exec, with Ogilvy and Mather. I said, I said, I do commercials and stuff, so I know the business. I said, what are some of your accounts? She says, well, the phone company, Can You Hear Me Now? And then, of course, I say the stupid thing that all actors say, which is meaningless. I say, I auditioned for that. And she said, really? I said, yeah, I remember the audition. I crawled under a table. I did this whole. She goes, you were our second choice. That's a lady. I really
would have had a mansion burning down right now in California if he would have landed that spot.
I think the closest.
Exactly right. Yeah.
I've come in second place a few times, but the worst one was I was up for a voice.
In that racket, second place is like first place is $1 billion. Second place is bupkis. Is nothing,
But I had an audio engineer tell me I was reading for a Viagra commercial for the voiceover. Okay.
All right.
And the guy says to me, so we go in, and the guy, I was like, and I was recording it, but it was only a demo. And so I'm looking at the guy, I was like, hey, I was trying to get any information. The guy goes, well, we're bringing in 5 guys. There's 5 demos. One of them's going to air for the next 9 years, and the other 4 are going to go home. He said it so monotone. I look at him, I go, so basically you're telling me I got a 5-to-1 shot to buy a house. He goes, yeah, man. And then it was like, okay, Jimmy, you ready to go? And of course, I waited the next day for the call, and the next day, and the next year, and now all I want to do is use Viagra.
And Jimmy's still waiting for that call today.
Yeah, it just I know that feeling when you come. I've come in second a few times. That's
show business.
So you had Total. Any other big campaigns we would know?
Total was probably the biggest one. You know what? I was the on-camera, but it didn't last very long. But for a brief period of time, I was the on-camera spokesman for AT&T. I did a bunch of funny commercials for AT&T to replace Cliff Robertson.
I remember that.
He was the spokesman for years.
Right.
And then they decided, let's go the opposite way. Let's get a young, funny guy in here. And so I did that for a while. So I did do well, and I made money, and I had kids. And
that's all I can.
Kids and all of that.
I always talk to Dave Sturcho here about as long you don't know where your money source can be. You could be a talented comedian, a great actor, and you read for some AT&T spot, and you buy a house in Madison, New Jersey. So it's all about earning a living, and I love it. I love hearing. When I was younger, I had more piss and vinegar, more like, oh shit, Dave Koning got it.
I don't know about Madison, New Jersey, but it's
a fine town. It's a fine town. But
now no Ramsey or Mawa or anything like that.
But now it's like when I see Ramsey with a quick 3 out of the box. But now
It's
when
no
I see
secret,
people I
I'll
know,
tell you that.
I get excited when I see people that I know that are working. So I know they're getting health insurance and stuff like that. So,
So where else? What are we going to do with our lives? Where are we going to go? We're all circus freaks. You know,
I
there's
know.
nowhere else.
I have nowhere else to go. That's my
Answer me,
problem.
clown.
I'm dying to go somewhere else.
I mean, you actually have a college degree, right?
I went to Rutgers, yeah.
You could go like teach, I don't know, physical education at a junior high school or something.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Jimmy walking into a gym telling people how to get fit. Yeah, that'll work out perfect.
You know what I can teach? The only thing I could teach is how to hit high arc softball, hit it over the second baseman's head. I could probably teach that. Now, I know you were a member of the Friars. You had a really cool post on Facebook. And of course, I labeled you as an expert on the Friars. That's not what I mean. You were involved with the Friars, and I'm bummed out because when I first started doing comedy and showbiz and all that crap, there was the Friars Club, but like none of my friends or even Artie Lang, nobody, we didn't know anything about it. And I wish I would have caught the tail end, kind of what you did. But tell me what that was like to even be a member in the last few years.
Yeah, it was definitely the last gasp of the Friars, the last 10 or 15, 20 years of it. And it was, it was definitely past its prime in the sense that it wasn't, Frank Sinatra wasn't hanging out there anymore.
Right.
Frank Sinatra Jr. wasn't even there. But I got in towards the, Jeffrey Ross was like, for the years, the Friars Club, there was no young comics there at all. And, it was like the Milton Berle era, which lasted, and, Milton Berle was like in his 90s when he, but Jeffrey Ross was really the first young comic there in the early 90s. And then a bunch of us came in. And the thing I loved about the Friars, the one thing I did love about the Friars so much was that it was the only place on earth. We would do a lot of shows there. There were a lot of shows.
I would have loved to perform there.
Benefits and things like that. Oh, but the great thing was, you'd perform there and you'd be on a bill with your peers, so it'd be like me and I don't know, like Tom Cotter or Ross Bennett, comics in my age group. But then you'd also get like I was on the last show. I was on the reunion and last show of Stiller and Mira, which was thrilling to me because that's
awesome.
Yeah. Ann Mira yelled at me for no reason at all. She just went berserk on me at the
That's
Friars
Ben
Club.
Stiller's dad, Dave Sturcio.
Oh, Arthur Spooner. Got it.
Yeah, and he was also on King of Queens as the dad.
Arthur Spooner, yeah.
Okay, and his wife Ann Mira, who's been in like 7,000 movies. So they were. Old Ben got a little bit of a jump start here. I can put a 2x4 together.
And now he's sitting courtside for every single Knicks home game. I think he did all right for himself.
So what was it? Did the lunches, getting lunch there, did that stop, or it was just used as a hall at one point?
No. It was an active club. No, it was an active club. You'd go, you'd have lunch. They had a pool table. There were pool tournaments. And it was fun. Right. It was a nice show business hangout. Well, it was a show business hangout. So you'd run into, Gilbert Gottfried was there all the time. You'd run into people.
I went to the LA one for a while. Did you ever go to the LA one?
Yeah, I was not at the LA one.
Yeah, I went to that one, but it was just like it was cool, but you almost feel like there were like comics like me there, and I wanted to see like, Ben Stiller and Ann Mira.
You wanted, yeah.
Instead, it was
exactly right. Yeah.
Fuck cares about me there. But now what?
Right, I could see this at the Comedy Store. Yeah, no, I know what you're saying.
So I guess they lost members. They lost money. They lost members, and then they had to they had to just sell the place, or it was like a real estate deal. What killed it?
All right, you know that scene in Goodfellas where the guy has the restaurant and he goes to Big Paulie and he says, "Listen, can you help me out? Can you come in on the restaurant?" Big Paulie says, "I don't know.
Of course I don't know anything on the restaurant.
Can you come in? Can you help me?" I said, "All right, to help you out, I'll come." And then 2 weeks later, Pesci and De Niro is sitting outside the restaurant, and the place is blowing up in flames. You know that scene?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's what happened at the Friars. I'm just saying it's a very good scene in a movie. That's all I'm saying.
All right. Well, the Friars Club. So now, are you still Do you still audition for TV shows?
I don't want anybody showing up at my door.
No, I'll cover for you.
Say again?
I'll cover for you. Don't worry about it. I know a guy.
You know some guys. Okay.
So are you still auditioning for films, TV shows, and all that, or voiceovers, or are you cruise ship?
Yeah, but it's it's different now, as you know. Yes, I still audition, but it's different, as you know, because you're no longer in the room with anybody.
Right.
So most 99% of the acting jobs I got on TV was because I was in the room. So I would ad lib something or be cute or whatever, and I make them laugh or something in the room. And they go, let's give it to that kid. He's a funny guy. He'll do something with it.
Right.
Now you're just, it's this. It's just your anonymous face on a tape.
You're just, and you can't really improv.
It's a little different now. It's a little.
I'm just a jerk off in front of a gray wall.
No.
And how about one casting director?
Well, that's pretty much exactly right.
One casting director finds out if you're available to do the spot, but you didn't get the audition yet. So in other words, it's like wait a minute. Usually that you get the audition and you check. They check that, and then you think, oh well, I said yes, I'm available. I'll get the audition, and you don't get the audition because they chose other people. It's like the play-in game, the NCAA tournament for actors. It's awful.
Yeah. Plus because everything's streaming, right? So the people outside of show business don't know and don't care, and nor should they. They have real lives, but the streaming waters everything down financially. So the days when you would get something on network television, you get those big fat network residuals. Well, that's all gone now. I mean, I've done like I did. I'm not going to say, it doesn't matter. One of the biggest show on television was so popular. Everybody loved it. Oh my God, to be on this show, and it aired and it was a million times. I got like $1.87.
Yeah,
because it was streaming.
By the way, you were great on Miss Maisel. You played a comic. I played a comedy club owner. So I didn't get a chance to be funny.
I played a hack comedian. I played a hack comic.
Yeah, but you know what? You were great on stage. I was like, when I saw that, I'm like, oh, look at Dave. It was great. You were perfect for that. And I didn't think it was so.
Oh, thank you, Jimmy. That's very nice.
Were you able to use any of your own material or improv when you were shooting it?
No, she wrote. Well, I did tweak it a little bit so that
I'm sure you did,
because it's her writing.
Right.
And but she deliberately wrote me like really bad jokes because I was supposed to be a very 1959 misogynist.
Right.
My wife is, sitting on the toilet. My wife, that kind of stuff.
Right.
And
I laughed at it. I thought it was great.
Oh no, it was a fun piece of business. And
she was did you
nice,
interact?
Wonderful people.
How nice was Miss Maisel, the girl? She was so sweet.
I spent the whole day, one day of shooting, but Jimmy, if the scene's a minute and a half, it takes 9 hours to shoot it. So I spent the entire day with Rachel Brosnahan, and I love. Oh, I'll tell you something. I spent the entire. Here's the thing. Okay, I was on Maisel, and I was playing a comedian. Right now, before I got on that show, this was the second season. Every comedian who appeared on the show, every time they showed a comedian, they never cast it was always an actor who was playing a stand-up comic.
Okay.
I was the first guy who was also a stand-up comic playing a stand-up comic.
That's good.
So Rachel was fascinated with me for the day, and she was asking me all these questions about performing stand-up comedy, and I saw this in action. What she had to do, which was very difficult.
Very difficult.
She would get up, she would perform, Mrs. Maisel would do whatever her set was that week. And they'd shoot it with an audience of extras reacting. Then for editing purposes, she would have to get up again, perform it for the same audience of extras, but the audience of extras were all instructed to not make a sound because they needed one clean
audio.
And
man, that's a bitch.
And she said, "This is what she said. This terrifies me. This keeps me up." I said, "I know. I can understand."
I can
she
imagine.
Was deliberately being set up to to bomb, even though it was an artificial situation.
The last comedy show I did, I was confident. I was like, you know what, I got this. And I don't know, somewhere around minute 4, even at that, I was speaking, and I was like jokes that I've done for years. and all of a sudden it was like silence. And I thought maybe is the mic on in your head? You want to tap the mic, of course you don't do that. But I'm like, all of a sudden, and you know what? I didn't recover well. I panicked, and I was like, I've been doing this 25 years on stage. Yeah. All of a sudden, I was like, why do I suck? And I got him back maybe 4 minutes later, and then I had to go back on as a host to bring the other guy up, and I could see it would be like I'm bringing in a relief pitcher the next night who just got shelled. And the audience is like, oh, this guy blows. I don't know. Yeah. And I went up and I just said, ladies and gentlemen, the next comic. There was no I told him,
your first 3.5 minutes were great, though.
I was rolling along. You know what I mean? Next thing you know,
for 3.5 minutes, you were brilliant.
And I actually have it on audio tape. And I have a couple of big shows coming up. And when I'm starting tomorrow, I'm going to be looking back and find out when did the bomb go off. Because I watch Air Disasters, and I think Air Disasters. There should be one called Comedy Disasters. And and they break down a set and exactly where it goes wrong, and then they call you a loser at the end.
I actually had a show where my microphone was turned off in the middle of my set.
What do you talk loud?
Here's what happened. I was booked. This is my fault, really. I was booked to perform at a fundraiser for a church because I'm a clean comic, so they figure, he's safe, clean comic, fundraiser. Right. But it was a Pentecostal church, right? Now there's clean and then there's Pentecostal clean. So I'm doing my act. I'm 10 minutes in. First 10 minutes, fine, no problem, laughs, okay, everything's cooking. I tell a joke, mild innuendo, mild, rated PG-14,
So and then you didn't say twat or anything like that.
I didn't say twat, no.
Okay.
I alluded to it. I didn't actually say it, There's a subtlety there. So I say my next joke, and I realize there's nothing going out. The microphone's on, and I said, who turned my microphone off? And woman in the front row said, Jesus did.
Oh my God.
Well, Jimmy.
He struck it down on you.
Yes. And you ask, how do you recover from that? You don't.
You don't.
In show business, just like in life, when Jesus cuts your microphone off, show's over.
You know what? It's like Mariano
Rivera. That as a Jew. What's this?
When 42 walks on the mound, this game is over. Final score, Jesus 110. The next 89. We'll be right back.
That's right, man.
Oh, that's brutal. Yeah, I've had the mic. That's why when I produce these shows at like Knights of Columbus and places like that.
Yeah.
And sure. Matter of fact, I got to have you on one of them. You'll enjoy it. But there's sometimes you ask the people, hey, you got audio, right? They're like, oh yeah, I got my guys bringing. And you get there, and the speaker looks like it's an AM radio from the 60s. You're like, I said, ma'am, you have 250 people paid $60 a head, and you have the microphone of a pen. What do you? Oh, and they scramble. So now I read the riot act. You must have this. I was going to buy equipment myself, but I'd fuck that up. Keep it in the car and get stolen.
You ever played a bungalow? What's left of the bungalow colonies in the mountains, in the Catskill Mountains?
No, I've never done the Catskills.
You don't want to, trust me. So they still have bungalow colonies up there, right?
I love
what a bungalow is. Bungalows and people, and then they have a little what they call a casino. It's a little shack in the middle, and that's where they go for their temple services, and that's where they have comics in on a Saturday night. Okay, so you get up there, and these places they're held together by chunks of lead paint. They're falling apart.
Right.
It's very sad. And you get up there, and they show you, okay, well, your show's going to be here. And I say, great. Can I test the mic? Oh, the mic. It's in the cabinet, and the cabinet is locked. And Harry has the key, but he died. We'll have to get someone to.
That's brutal. That would drive me nuts. Well, all right. Listen, Dave Koning, funny
Jimmy
guy. I'm definitely going to be keeping in touch with you more. I got some shows coming up, possibly, and I'd love to use you there. And they pay. The pay will be good. They're in North Jersey, and the pay's pretty good. It's not cruise ship money here, but you're more than welcome to come to my place and nap before, so you feel like
It's bungalow. It's at least bungalow money, so that's fine.
Now the money's that's not too bad. Okay. Well, listen, I appreciate you coming on. It's good to see
Jimmy,
your face.
It's so nice to see you, pal.
I miss the old days.
Yeah.
And hopefully I'll see you. We'll talk after the show. Thanks for coming
Jimmy,
on.
you're a
Everybody,
good guy, and I appreciate you having me on your podcast. And Dave, it was good to meet you. And honestly, that whole 47-minute segment before the show goes on the air, when you're trying to figure out how to plug things in. That's your show. You got to air that part.
That's his Patreon members. They're going to be privy to that soon.
Yeah, they're going to be getting all that
shit.
You got to
pay extra to see that. Yeah.
Thanks so much, Dave.
All right, Dave. Thank you very much. I'll give you a call later on. You got it. We'll see you. Dave Koning getting involved here from the Omni. And of course, that's brought to you by who's that brought to you by? That is brought to you by your friend and mine, cornholelevel.com. That's right, Dave. You forgot about Cornhole Level. Dave Koning's been having trouble with his cornhole at the bungalows in the Catskills. There it is right there. You get this thing, it hooks on. It makes your cornhole level board perfect. Go check it out, cornholelevel.com. 20% off if you put in JP Show. That's awesome. They got some different sponsors and samples you can buy, so on and so forth. Let's see. This show now is running a little late, but we'll run through some stuff. Number one, Rutgers Hoops. You can't lose to Penn State. I don't care. And everybody's talking about generational talent. And Ace Bailey had 30 points, and the announcers were going, Dave, I know you didn't watch the game.
No.
They're down by 6. Ace Bailey, about 2 minutes ago, okay? Ace Bailey does a highlight, and it's probably on ESPN, a highlight reel that you'll be watching maybe for 10 years. A sky jam, Jordan-esque, unbelievable dunk to cut it to 4. What does he do? Talk smack right in the guy's face.
Gets teed up.
Teed up. Guy goes to the line. Boom, boom. Back to 6. Balls Penn State. 3-pointer. Game over.
Welcome to the new age of sports, man.
The announcers kept on saying, well, I know he shouldn't have done the technical, but man, that dunk. And I'm like, that would be like someone saying, wow, Mahomes, I mean, they lost the Super Bowl, but that one pass he threw, like,
well, because they know, like, these announcers and the boosters and everybody that's involved with these kids, they want to kiss his ass as much as possible, because when he's gone, and maybe Ace Bailey or Harper, they both look back and like, all right, who was good to me? So when I cash in, I can help out a couple people. Are gonna kiss his ass.
I hate it. He's 18 years old. He's probably not a bad kid, right? I'm not. By the way, when I talk about these Rutgers players, I'm not. They're all probably nice kids who are making $5 million a year. But that's why the coach has no control. I can't wait till these 2 guys are gone, so we can go back to regular, not making the NBA players. Pay them, but I don't want to hear this NBA top 2 in a draft. Generational, like Harper. Harper took. He hurt his ankle. He took off the whole second half. The guard on Penn State, he should get drafted above Harper. Ate his lunch. Veteran guard, ate him up. Distributed the ball. Anyway. No. You know what the bottom line is? We have to go 12-8 in the league to make the tournament. We're 3-5, so we have to go 9-3 the rest of the way. And we got to play like Tom Izzo and all these Purdue yet. Anyway, I'm disgusted. Now, my picks last week, I was awesome. I was 0 for 4. I lost every game if I was gambling. The one game that was, to me, the Ravens guy dropping the pass. I hate when I have no skin in the game. I have no skin in the game with that game. Right. I really don't care. Now, if I hate a team, I love when they lose shitty. But if I have no skin in the game, you want to see a game won by the other team, not on a perfectly thrown drop pass by a guy who's a good player. So that was shitty. But you know what? The Ravens deserved to lose. They made tons of mistakes throughout the game. The Chiefs, this penalty thing with Mahomes, we've talked about it ad nauseum on the show.
The best part about all of this is that it was the broadcast, meaning listening to Joe Buck and Troy Aikman literally rip him apart, saying
Troy Aikman. I don't think it was almost like he wasn't mic'd because he went like, "Come on, man."
I know, and then literally he goes, and then one of the ones Mahomes scrambles to the outside, goes out of bounds, and then Joe Buck is like, "And there's a flop by Mahomes." Like literally, they're calling him out on his
crazy
bullshit.
to me.
It's so bad, dude. It's
and everybody,
so bad.
And my cousin John.
The world is on the Chiefs. I mean, the Bills right now.
When they got the ball back and they got to like the 30, my cousin John texted me, "I'd pay $5,000 to have a touchdown pass happen right now." But here's the worst part about. First of all, as a Giant fan, I've been hard on the Giants. You know that, and you've been hard on the Cowboys too, because you just get pissed after a while. But the Giants, listen, they suck. We know that. But things that have happened this year, it's like there's suck, and then there's like kicking a dog when he's like, first of all, like we have the number 1 pick and we beat the Colts. And now we have the number 3 pick. And then all of a sudden, Barkley has to become arguably the greatest NFL player of all time. Okay. It's between, really, it's like LeBron, Jordan, or Barkley, who's the best professional athlete of all time. And he's like running for yardage, 80-yard, all this different stuff. And then the Hard Knocks show for the Giants, they asked Dable, Shane went to Dable, hey, if we can get Jaden Daniels, would you take him? And Dable goes, absolutely. Like without even no hesitation on they just signed this other quarterback, right?
Son who said that they should draft him. And his son is 7.
And so it's like going on. And all of a sudden, what happens? Playing the Detroit Lions, they were like 27-1 this year, and
they ran them out of Detroit.
Oh my God.
I couldn't believe I
couldn't believe it either.
I didn't see any. I saw a very brief of the Eagles game because like I said, I had a gig in the city, but I was watching on that like the GameCast thing, right? Like this play-by-play, and I'm like, oh, this must be a typo. It said that Barkley busted another run for a touchdown, like a long one. I was like, there's got to be something wrong. And I'm like, wait, no. Oh my God. Like this dude, like it is. Listen, it's the NFC East as far as Cowboys and the Giants are concerned. This is a nightmare for us.
It's a nightmare.
You know what I mean? It's an absolute nightmare for the Eagles and the rest.
You know what? I guess I'm rooting. The Redskins have been equally shitty for a long time, so I'll root for the Redskins.
Well, listen. Before we make our shitty picks, why don't we get to your lovely niece? She did send in her.
Oh, she did send one in.
Of course. Listen, right. I'm on it, man. I'm making sure that. Listen, we don't worry about nothing, but we do have some words from Miss Madison. And she's very authentic with her takes. She wants to make sure that all goes well. So
guys, welcome back to another Minute with Madison. The divisional round is over. We have now moved on to the NFC Championship and the AFC Championship. 4 teams remain. We have the Commanders and the Eagles, and we have the Bills and the Chiefs. For the NFC Championship game, I can't even believe it's 2 NFC East teams. I never would have pictured that. I mean, it's not really a shock that the Eagles have made it, but no one thought the Commanders were going to make it this far. I'm so upset the Lions got knocked off. I wanted them to win the Super Bowl. And this game's tough. It seems like the entire country wants the Commanders to win, and the state of Pennsylvania wants the Eagles. I don't see the Commanders knocking off the Eagles, but I would love nothing more for that upset. That would be such a slap in the face to the Eagles. But unfortunately, I do have to go with the Eagles going to the Super Bowl, and I can't even believe I'm saying that. Moving on to the AFC, we have the Bills and the Chiefs. I want the Bills. I think it's their year. They are such a solid team. They deserve it. But if the refs are on the Chiefs' side, once again, the Chiefs are going to appear in their 3rd straight Super Bowl. And that's crazy. I don't know. That game is tough, but I want the Bills. Similar to the NFC, it seems like the whole country wants the Bills and just Kansas City wants the Chiefs. I can't believe the season is already almost over and we are approaching the Super Bowl. I will be back next week to predict the Super Bowl. Thanks, guys, and back to you.
Well, Madison, and I know Madison's working on some stuff that could bring some very good news, and I hope that works out for you, kiddo. We'll talk about that when it happens. Yeah, you know what? Listen, we're not a gambling show. I don't gamble, but you know what? I'm rooting for the Skins. I'm rooting for the Bills. I'm rooting for the Bills to win it. Why? They're 0-4. The mob got to them during the Cowboy game when they were up like 10-7 at the half and they lost 95-10. Jim Kelly in that game. I watched on
52-17.
Okay,
by the way.
Okay. I have no doubt in my mind. The score was, I believe the Bills had a lead at the half. And then Vinny Boombots went over to Jim Kelly and said, hey, Kelly, did you forget? Okay. Because Kelly threw 7 touchdowns a quarter every game. And then in the second half, you have to watch. I watched the game.
He got hurt.
No, he was still in the game.
We knocked him out of the game
later on, though. After he threw 11,
I'll never forget like the visual of him like crutching back onto the field in street clothes.
But the game was already over by then. He passes that like little dump off. Oh, Kelly high, Kelly low. Please. Anyway, the Bills deserve it. The Giants, the kick. I mean, wide right.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. So I'm rooting for the Bills. Gambling-wise, this point spread, have at it.
Yeah, I'm on your side too. I'm rooting.
I think we're just rooting
for the Commanders, rooting for the Bills. But listen, if push comes to shove, and the Eagles for whatever reason get to the Super Bowl, and for whatever reason Mahomes gets back, I have no choice but to just root for the refs and root for Mahomes again.
I know. I'm with you. But you know what? My nephew.
There's no way I can stomach another Eagles Super Bowl. No, there's just not. I can't do it.
My nephew and Madison's cousin, he's a huge Chief fan. And so I can't go completely hard. I'm just tired of the Chiefs, even though I
think everybody is. I think everybody is. And I think because I feel like the jig is up. You know what I mean? Like everybody kind of figured out that the world in the NFL, they just love this whole, hey, if the Chiefs get back there, we can have Taylor in the box, and Taylor can promote the Super Bowl and all this other shit. Like it's all
so tired too.
So in your face, it's like it's annoying.
Well, also I read your post. You wrote about you posted something that was I forget what the hell I was going to say now. You posted something online about what happened this weekend.
I had a massive gig.
Yeah, a massive gig, but there was something else you posted. Oh my God. Anyway, I'll think about it in a second. My daughter's birthday was yesterday, Sweet 16. I'm getting her tickets to Zach Bryan.
Wait. Is there a Sweet 16 party?
She had a gathering in the city. They saw Moulin Rouge.
I'm talking about like a Sweet.
No, she's having some people over in a couple weeks. She wanted to do this weekend in the city, but there's no ballroom dance.
No lighting of the candles, nothing. I couldn't.
Well, we'll be doing that, but she had. But listen,
listen. What if I'm one of the candles? You know what I mean? Like, what if?
She'll be. Her birthday will be well celebrated tomorrow. I got to call up the driving place and give them $500 for the driving permit. I can't. If we're still doing this show, and you got to deal with that. Also, don't forget, I got some shows coming up. April 24th is Friday in Mawa at Booyah Club Booyah.
Guys, I'm just going to correct him. He said April 24th. It's January 24th. That's
sorry. I glanced at my.
Just in case anybody was scheduling ahead, he's at Booyah with Ryan Marr.
I can't believe I wrote April 20th. January 24th. This Friday. Thank you, Dave. I love when you produce. It's wonderful. I'm going to be at Booyah, 8 p.m. with Ryan Marr and Chip Ambrosio. Really good comics there. You have a good time. Also, January 25th, I'm in Westwood. Check out my social medias. I'll be posting about stuff this week. Also, the Big Kahuna Day is April 18th. April 18th from downtown Avenel at the APAC Center here. Darryl Clark called me a dumbass. Go check that out in Avenel. Tickets are available. Go check that out. And also, don't forget Chasing Miracles. That's right. Go to chasingmiracles.com. Patches are on me as I speak. What else I want to say?
I'll also be going, and this is when Jimmy's like, you son of a bitch. Like, I'm also going to be checking out a comedy show on Friday. Sunday, I got Louis C.K. Friday, I'm heading back to New York City. I don't know if you've ever performed here, Gotham Comedy Club.
No, never performed. I want to, never have.
Yeah, Brett.
I did. You know what? I did improv there at the Gotham years ago.
Yeah, so I'll be there with
not a stand-up though.
My buddy Tommy Tequila. We're heading over to see my boy Brett Ernst, who's back.
There you go, Brett Ernst. Who is? What is he most famous for? Being the third baseman.
Playing third base on Beer League.
That's right. Artie shoves dirt on his
that little stupid measly show, Cobra Kai. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah, that. But he hasn't been in that in 3 years.
He's there.
Yeah, come on.
I'd
kill to be Brett Ernst. We should have him on the show.
Yeah, I don't know why we haven't yet. That's kind of stupid. Yeah, we gotta.
We're doing more guests. Also, don't forget about One Bite Creative. My buddy, my website guy Brian did my website, and go to him. This guy's awesome. If anybody out there is looking to do a website, call this guy. He does logos. He sets it all up. He sets the whole everything up. It's completely
easy,
full service.
Easy to talk to as well.
Easy to talk to, and Dave likes him.
He says I'm a legend for putting up with you. So
yes, of course. And I have merch now, and I realize I have JP Show, Jimmy Palumbo Show T-shirts. I have 706 T-shirts. I have, of course, Tacky Perfect T-shirts redesigned. I have Getting Involved T-shirts. I have the Jimmy Palumbo Show sweatshirts, which are cool. I have onesies. Anybody has a baby, you got to send them a Jimmy Palumbo onesie. I got a 706 hats. I got JP Show hats. I got Jimmy Palumbo Show wrapping paper day here in Shea. That's going to be hysterical. And look at Dave hopping. There you go. And I got beer glasses right there.
That's so funny.
And that's awesome. I got to order one for my nephew. And we got beer pint glasses. And also,
is that to the left? What is this? Tacky
wrapping paper.
Oh my God.
We also have, well, if you get him a tacky gift, that's what we also have. Beer league ping pong balls, aka the pitching machine day.
Look at those bad boys.
And there's even a whole click on the about. There's a whole explanation of it, which is hysterical. So we get that, and also we have a deck of cards, 706 cards, which that's awesome too. So all kinds of gifts, trinkets, that kind of thing. So go to the merch page so I can afford to pay Dave, and check out all the stuff, and all done by One Bite Creative. I'm telling you, anybody out there needs a website. I mean, this even Dave is like, this is the guy. He's great.
Wait, I think Darryl Clark just says I got mine, so he must have ordered something.
Did you? Oh, Darryl Clark. You ordered it. I don't know if you got it.
Or he got it or he ordered it. Either way.
Either way, it's very cool.
So that's good.
Don't forget Absolute Eyewear. I need to get new glasses there as well. Go check them out. 42 Main Street, Woodbridge, New Jersey, 732-326-3937 or 732-326.
Nice.
That's been a long time since we did that one.
And I was on cue. I was good for that.
There you go. That was most cue you've been on the whole since we did it the first time. Absolute Eyewear. Go talk to Janine and Craig.
All right. Darryl Clark ordered the shirt. So
yes, and Darryl Clark.
Darryl, just so you're aware, it takes about 3 to 7 months to get there.
It's because I'm making Dave Sturcho do him. His son Miles is doing a finger painting on the shirt. We call it the Miles shirt. It's in jet green colors. No, check it out. I think the merch is great. It's really cool shit. My daughter, again, is 16. She gets her driving permit. That's exciting. I have comedy shows this weekend I have to prepare. Don't forget to go to Absolute Eyewear. And don't forget to go to the Pine Tar Bar and Grill for all your football watching needs. And also Lisa Ruane, 201-725-1251. If you're in a jam, we gotta get the Pine Tar logo up there. Anyway, and also a shout out to Lucas Lucas
Oil Stadium.
No, a shout out to in Woodbridge there.
Richard Lucas Chevy and Subaru. I got it. Listen, wait till you see the monster. I'm going to be driving in about 2 weeks. I cannot wait.
Right, so we can't talk about how you decided to go into the
nope. Where's my sensor buttons around here somewhere? I don't know.
And we'll
I'm not talking about that because that was the worst thing I've ever done in my life. But anyway,
also a shout out. We listen for the second time of the Jimmy Palumbo Show. We now have a new president, President Donald Trump. I know yesterday people were having tailgates and parties for it. I watched a decent amount of it. I thought his inauguration speech was good.
I wanted to run through a fucking wall in the best way possible. I was like, let's go. The best part, Jimmy, I don't know if you realize. I mean, obviously you realize if you watched it, but like the hardest part to digest was that he was doing good in the beginning, right? And then he just all of a sudden turned it into a roast of the previous administration. Meanwhile, fucking Biden and Harris are sitting right behind them. I'm like, oh man,
that's always. Well, see, you think it's great.
I think it was hilarious.
People think
it is, man.
Well, I'm not going to get political on the show. Listen, I thought he did a good job. I thought he was, listen, the thing about politics and sports is I say it like, listen, before the season, it's a great speech.
The same thing I say.
It's 17-game season, bro.
I say it to my wife. You know, she's a Democrat, right? And I say, look, we'll wait and see, right? Like we all listen. Part of being a fan, right, is 95% of being a fan is hope, right?
Listen, so I support the president. I hope he can do some of the things he can do. Sure. I hope he doesn't do things to the Constitution. We still, to anybody out there who's panicking and crying, there's still 3 branches of government. A lot of the things he said probably won't happen due to various.
He's got to get through so many channels and shit.
Channels and stuff. But some of them make sense. I do like the guy they had on the migration czar guy, Haman, whatever his name is. And he was usually he's a little obnoxious. He's kind of like a world wrestling guy. He wasn't this morning. And I really liked what he had to say. He explained exactly what they're doing in a very calm way. And a lot of that stuff makes sense. Any of the common sense stuff. I just hope the president.
I'm sorry. I said it last night. I think the funniest part of it, which again, to me, like I'm all for like helping us out, the American people. I'm with that. And I think he's all for that, right? But all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he's like, and by the way, we're gonna plant the stars and stripes on the planet Mars. Who cares? And then you got Elon Musk like, yeah. I was like, dude, who gives a shit? I'm not worried about America. I'm not worried about another fucking planet.
Well,
hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, he likes to talk, and let's see if we can pull off. Hopefully the country will. The country hasn't been headed in a great direction, so hopefully you can turn around a little bit within the confines of how the country works.
Of course,
but no. Let's see, it's not of course. We have to make sure.
Yesterday he's on the air, he's like, I'm going to sign 79. Fuck is he doing? He's like, and he just keeps holding up the thing, like, I just signed it. I
gotta give him credit. I mean, he did the inauguration. He did it inside because people would have been freezing their balls off. Then he went to the luncheon, and that's when his speech really went off the rails. And then he went back to that Capital One Center. So I got to give him credit. He put on a full 12-hour show. No, 13 hours of. And
he loved every
minute of it. So, and first of all,
that's a clip. Put it online. Put it on the TikTok that I just saved. I saved TikTok. You know what's funny? When TikTok went away for that 8 hours that it was gone, I was like, wow, it's just one less thing I got to do for Jimmy. But now I'm back. So now I got to do it.
You're back. No, it was a crazy day. It really was. Melania looked hot.
She looked like the Undertaker. What the fuck was she wearing? She looked like a long.
Doesn't matter. She could wear a burlap bag. She's hitting threes all day. And you got Barron Trump. I only think I feel bad about the almost as long as show. I was like, oh, well. All right, we're 11 minutes. No,
I got to get my daughter anyway, so let's wrap.
Everybody go. Thank everybody. God bless the United States. God bless the Jimmy Palumbo Show. God bless the Donald Trump. Hope he does well. And God bless Madison. Good luck to you. And that'll do it here from the Omni in Atlanta. We'll see you next week. We have a guest next week. It's who the hell do we have next week? I got to guess. No, we have a casting director coming on. Mel Mack is coming on. Mel Mack Casting.
Can't wait.
On the show. And we got Ed Zucker the weekend after. So.
Oh man,
week after. So we got we're going to be like guest heavy here.
So then make sure you sign off the show correctly. Go ahead, Jimmy. You say it every show.
We'll see you next week with a very special guest.
There it is.